meditation things. I could even join just to get a hang of it.
Yeah, you could do it by joining something. There are even apps that you can download, apps like Calm and others, which I don't like to recommend, but if you're struggling with getting somewhere, they can be a starter for someone, right? There's also stuff on YouTube that you can see meditation things over there. But ultimately, it comes down to your breath. You can do all the fancy things you like, but it comes down to this life force energy that is moving inside you, and being able to focus on that is the ultimate meditation. As you deepen that focus, as you become more focused, yes, it has a lot of benefits. But you'll start noticing that as you become trained in this, your work will get better. Your mind will be clearer. You'll do things more effectively. You're not going to be so muddled, tossing from one thing to another, to the other, to the other. That's muddled, right? So yeah, you'll also find benefits for your health and your peace of mind and so many things. So try it out.
Okay.
All right. What you simply do is this. You notice your breath as it goes in, and you notice your breath as it comes out. So let's start with that today. Let's just breathe together. Breathe in. Hold your breath for a moment. Then breathe out. Breathe out fully, completely. Then hold your breath. Count for about 3 seconds or 5 seconds, whichever you can do more comfortably. Then breathe in again. Then hold your breath. Count to 5. Pause again. Then breathe in. Pause again. Breathe out. Do you think you could do that while you're in the car waiting for the traffic light to change?
Sure. If I don't have, I can be thinking of other things though.
No, just focus on your breath.
Oh. I was wondering if there's people online as we were doing this. Are there other people? Can't see those other people watching online. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's all right. Let them. There could be people here in Zoom who might not want to be seen either, so it's okay. Hi, Rima. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Good to see you in a new location today.
Yeah.
Nice
I was away a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
Good.
Okay. All right, let's take the meditation practice and go one more step. And as we did last time, I'll take you to chat, just doing a little bit of, we'll add to what we just did. We'll add a little bit of Om. And then we'll do a little kirtan. So what we're going to do is this part here. Just as we were breathing in, now we're going to do the Om. So we'll breathe in. And as we, instead of exhaling through the nose, we will exhale by saying the mantra. Breathe in. Pause. Pause again. Breathe in. Breathe in. We'll do one more. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right, today we're going to read from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text number 20. Last time we had read a really nice verse, text number 19, which said, "As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self." Remember we talked about focus? That's the ultimate focus. Being able to focus on the self, the transcendent self, not the ego, not the body, not the mind, not your thoughts. But it says here, as a lamp in a windless place does not waver, the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. So what does that mean? The transcendent self is actually the soul. How do you know you have a soul? Oh, you can feel it. You cannot see it. You cannot, in the initial stages, you cannot hear it. You can later on hear it, but you still never be able to see it. And you can always feel it. How do you feel it? So when you do any kind of meditation, I mean any kind of meditation, even if you are just sitting in nature, you'll notice after a little while you begin to feel peaceful. Ask yourself the question, where is this peace coming from? Why am I feeling peaceful? Like when I stop thinking, why do I feel peaceful? So that's when you begin to understand that that is the nature of life. If you are present to the life within you, you will feel peaceful. If you are present to the life around you, you will feel peaceful. So it is the nature of this life that is in us and all around us, or some would say this energy that is in us and all around us. It is by nature peaceful. So the only thing keeping you away from that peace is this chatter inside here. What's his name? This author who writes about this in there's a book called The Untethered Soul. Martin, getting his last name right now, confusing it with someone else. But he talks about how your mind is like a roommate, and you have a roommate in your house who you want to sit and watch the TV, let's say, and this roommate comes and sits down next to you on the couch and starts talking and won't stop talking. And you want them to shut up so that you can watch the TV. You're not interested in what they've got to say. So he compares the mind to a roommate like that, who is constantly talking, constantly yapping away about something or other, going on and on and on, and not leaving you alone to do the things you want to do, not let you focus, to not let you enjoy, to not let you be completely present to anything or anyone. It's taking the joy out of your life. And so you say, well, how do I stop this? Your first level would be just to notice that it's there. Just to notice that your mind is talking to you. In other words, to observe it, to watch it as it's doing that. And as you watch it, you'll begin to notice that I'm here, my mind is there, I'm watching it. So there's a separation between me and my mind, and that's the beginning. Once you manage to catch that one, you're on the way. Just the separation, that one simple act of separating from your thoughts is a huge step in the right direction. So once you start noticing that separation, you can actually begin to either continue observing it if you like, or directing it. Say, you know what? We'll talk about that later. Thank you. Not right now. You set some boundaries. So you can do it that way, or you can focus your mind on something specific. Now it wants to come in, says, not now, or I'll jot down whatever you've got to say. Thank you, and that's it. You start setting some boundaries. And then you focus on the breathing or on the task at hand or whatever else. It helps. It helps to be able to take charge of your mind like that. There are different ways of doing it. Some people talk of observing the mind. And today I was reading about someone who was a meditator who would say, I wake up in the morning, every day I beat my mind 100 times with a stick and get it to shut up. And then before night, I beat it 100 more times with a broomstick now. So, there's different approaches. You can use the kinder approach or the more severe approach, whatever works for you. You can be present, you can be a yogi, you can have kirtan. There's so many ways to do this. Honestly, it does not matter how you do it. What matters is that you get to the end result, which is that your mind is quiet. What happens then? You feel peaceful. Why do you feel peaceful? Because that is who you are. You're experiencing you. So for a few moments a day, if you can experience you, if you can give yourself 5 minutes to sit with you, 10 minutes to sit with you, to experience you, to meet you, to say hi to you, right? To shake hands with you, to hug you. And I don't mean this body mind. I mean the real you. Something very interesting will start to happen. The energy of that inner being that you are will start to radiate outward into your life. You will start to notice that it starts to have an influence on everything you do and everything you say. It will start to change you from the inside out. Most people don't know this, that as you invite the soul to become an active part of your life, you don't need to do all the hard work of trying to change yourself, because your soul is already a perfect being. It already is everything you'd ever desire to be. It's your mind you're struggling with. Your mind is having all kinds of issues. It has wounds from the past. It has thoughts, about things to do in the present, and it has anxieties about the future. So it's constantly in this turmoil, and it's wounded from past experiences and hurt by other things and worried about so many things. But the soul is not affected by any of it. It was never wounded by the things of your past. Even if somebody killed you or raped you or abused you or did this or did that, hurt you in so many ways, betrayed you, left you, you got broke, you grew up in poverty, it doesn't matter. Your soul was not affected by any of it. It was always there, radiant, peaceful, calm, watching, waiting for the day that you would turn to it, the day that you would come back home and greet it and say, hi, how are you? It's been a long time we haven't met, right? And as you meet it, you start to feel its presence. And if you go back to it regularly, its presence will start to come into every aspect of your life. It will happen naturally. It will not happen as a result of your doing something. There are not changes that you will make in your thoughts, words, and deeds. The changes will now begin to filter outward from your soul into your mind and body. They will start to take over. The more you become identified with it, the more you begin to realize that that is me, the rest is not me. The mind and body is a temporary vehicle I live in, but it is not me. This here, this peaceful feeling I have inside, this is me. And now you start directing everything from that place. You start living from that place. So that's what Krishna means when he says here that a person whose mind is controlled remains steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. In a way, you could say the self becomes more predominant in your life and the ego becomes smaller. Its role becomes smaller in your life. You can keep asking, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And not come up with any answer. The only way you do this is you do the meditation that connects you, any kind of meditation that connects you with a quiet mind. The soul is now immediately ready to come forth. You will feel its presence immediately. And as you feel it, practice just going back there. Practice reclaiming it, reinvigorating it, re-enlivening it, awakening it. These are all different words. But what it means is it's now becoming an active part of your life. And you can connect with it for a minute here and a minute there and 2 minutes there and 5 minutes there. And now your day will be interspersed with those moments. And those moments will become like pearls on a thread. You know how you have pearls? Each pearl is a round circle, right? So each moment will be like that round circle, and the thread will be your life. So your life will now be these little moments throughout the day that will make up the pearl necklace of your life. You will start to have a quality of life that you have never had till now, a beautiful life. A feeling of completeness in your life. You know, those pearls are round and complete, right? So each moment will be complete in itself. And the worry about what will happen in the future and what has happened in the past will become less and less important to you. Your life will be complete here and now, and it will not matter whether you live another 100 years or another year or another day or another minute, because your life is already complete, like this circle, like that pearl. Your life will be like that. Each moment will be complete and perfect. And then this crazy struggle that we all go through, the struggle for survival, will start disappearing from your life. Struggle for survival. How do I pay the bills? How do I get by? How do I fulfill my desires? How do I save for the future? All of that will start to diminish more and more and more, because you will have come in touch with that part of you that has no worry. Why does it have no worry? Because it is imperishable. It cannot be destroyed. Why else? Because it has no fear at all. It has no fear of anything, not of life, not of death. Imagine having no fear of life. Most people will say to you, I'm not afraid of death. I don't know if that's true, because the moment death comes on them, they're like, oh, how can I do to avoid this thing, right? What medicine can I take? What doctor can I go to? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong in that. I'm just saying, to say that you don't have a fear of death is when you're not facing it. When you face it, it's a whole different thing. But we also have a bigger fear, and that's the fear of life. A fear of really living fully with abandon, without worry, without tension, without anxiety. Rima, you grew up in Bombay, right?
Yeah.
Remember in Bombay, there was a certain saying they had, tension nahi lene ka. Remember that?
Yes.
And in Punjab, they have a similar one. It's ki farak penda hai. What difference does it make? Right? I found that most places of the world have certain statements like this. I'm not remembering so many of them, but I had someone told me about their experience in Thailand. They had a statement like that. And I think everywhere you go in the world, people have some such thing that tells you there's no point worrying about anything, right? There's no point about in being tense or anxious. Things are going to be whatever they're going to be. And so the soul knows this thing. And it is that soul that is in every one of us, whether you are from Africa or India or America, it's the same. We're all the same. Like even your DNA might be 99.9% or 999% the same, yet we have different color skins and different constitution in our body, but the soul is 100% same. There is nothing different between one person's soul and another. The soul of Jesus or the soul of Buddha or the soul of you, there is no difference. Unless, of course, you believe that he's God, in which case, well, there is a difference. But he never said so. And I'd like to hear from anyone who says that he said so and really get them to prove that. But no, he was always saying, I am the Son of God. I am Father who art in heaven. He never said he's the Father. So anyways, I won't get into that discussion. My point to you, soul is the same. Yes, you have something?
So the roommate who is chattering away
Ah,
usually starts, I mean, I don't get anxious or worried during the day. I just don't have, I can't be bothered to be anxious or worried. But in the middle of the night,
mhm.
the roommate starts talking and they can't shut the roommate up. And I guess you're saying you need to meditate even on that. Like yesterday, I was up like for an hour.
I'm saying that the practice begins throughout the day. This is a very good point you're bringing up. When your things are quiet, it's a lot harder. When there's things going on, it's easier. So I'm saying start easy, build the muscle. This is a muscle that has to be developed. Setting boundaries with your mind of what it can and cannot do, taking back that power from your mind, right, is something you practice throughout the day. So that by the time the tough moments arrive at night, you're on it. You will not let it. You said right. So another thing I'll suggest to you before going to sleep, if you find your mind chattering away at night, do a mind dump. That is to say, before you go to bed, write down any things you need to do, any things that you need, to clear up or work on, and tell your mind, we're going to deal with that tomorrow. Okay. And if there's anything else, then the mind has to wait. The mind works for you. You do not work for your mind. So if it wants to wake you up in the middle of the night and tell you the most inspiring thing on earth, you say, wait till tomorrow. I will definitely hear you out, but tomorrow, not now. So it's about setting some boundaries. And if you haven't practiced setting those boundaries while you're awake and conscious, it will start to really work on you when you're not so alert. And then you'll say, oh, I'm lazy and I'm tired and I can't do this. No, practice. Practice will make you perfect in this. And throughout the day, you have, outside the 8 hours you sleep, you have another 16 hours that you're awake. Practice in those hours. It wants to wander? No, right now we're doing this. Focus here. It wants to go and play some music in your head. Say, I didn't ask you to play music. Let's do that. We're working right now. I'll put on some other music if I want some. Thank you. Practice taking charge. See what happens.
Yeah,
Come back and let me know next week.
all right.
Okay. Bhagavad Gita continues, chapter 6, text number 20 to 23. It goes on to talk about the transcendentalist, the person who has controlled their mind. What is it like? So it says here, in the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. Notice what it's saying here. To see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. The self meaning the soul meaning that which you are. It's not that one does this because it is something hard or difficult or painful. Maybe the process might seem a little hard, but the outcome is a rejoicing, is a celebration, is a sense of it's so good to be back home, back connected to yourself. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. So everything has a positive and a negative, a light and a shadow, one could say. There is happiness in this world, and there is happiness of the soul, and they're different things altogether. The happiness of this world will always have a cause. Like if you get something you want, you're happy. If you don't get what you want, then you are unhappy. But for the soul, for this level of existence, which is the real you, there is no cause. The happiness has no cause. It just, you're easily, naturally, and effortlessly happy. Nothing has to happen. Nothing needs to be achieved. Nothing needs to be acquired. Nothing needs to happen. It's a natural happiness. It is the very nature of who you are. And he refers to this as boundless, transcendental happiness. So this is a happiness that transcends the happiness of the world. And it is boundless, meaning it has no limit. It has no, it's not finite, it's infinite. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Let me read that again. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. This statement is actually meant literally. It's not metaphorical. It's not an assumption. Literally, if you told a person who has experienced this inner happiness, this inner peace, this inner self, you said, give up this thing for me and I will give you $1 billion or $10 billion. I assure you that anyone who has experienced this will tell you, no way. No way on earth. If you tell me to give up this, which I have found here, in exchange for billions of dollars, there is no way. This is a far greater wealth than anything you can give me. And while that sounds improbable to the average person who hasn't tasted this, ask someone who has, and you will hear this from them. By the blessings of various people I've come across in this life, I know I've had that experience again and again. And I know this too. I would not trade that experience, that reality, that possibility, that for any amount of money or things or whatever you might want to give me in the world. No, it's priceless. Established thus, one never departs from the truth. Here's the other part of it. You know, the truth. People have beliefs, right? Beliefs in religion and so on and so forth. And you could have a certain religious belief right now, and tomorrow you could have somebody come along and convince you otherwise, and maybe you could give up your religion and maybe become an atheist. Maybe things don't work out the way you want. Maybe some tragedy happens in your life and you say, God, how could you let this happen to me? And since you made it happen, since you let it happen to me, I don't believe in you anymore. You can't be there. How can bad things happen to good people? A lot of people have followed that idea. But the reality is that bad things will happen, whether you're good or you're bad, it doesn't matter. And good things will happen, whether you're bad or you're good, it doesn't matter. And yes, maybe some more good things will happen if you've had some good karma to back you up. But ultimately, we all suffer. We suffer from death, we suffer from old age, we suffer from disease, we suffer from life's experiences, the entire process of living. So there's no way around that. The only escape, the only way out is by going in. The only way out is by going in. If you want real freedom, you'll find it here inside you. If you want real happiness, you'll find it inside you. If you want real love, you'll find it inside you. Everything else now becomes child's play. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with child's play. Having a house, having a nice car, having a nice partner, having the wonderful things of this world, enjoying them, nothing wrong. As long as you know These are toys that you're playing with. They are not the real thing. They will not give you the real happiness you seek or the peace or the love, or they will not fulfill you. As long as you know that, then enjoy them. Have everything. But do not be deluded that it will give you something that it is not capable of. What will fulfill you is only spirit.
Philanthropy a toy?
Philanthropy is also a toy. You're playing around with trying to help people feel good about, satisfy their basic needs. And once again, I'm not saying any of it is wrong. Not a nice house. Even if a big house is what you want, have it. Don't have 10 houses. That doesn't make sense. But you want one house, okay. Yeah, everyone has a right to that. There's nothing wrong in it. Whether you want to do philanthropy, do it. Philanthropy will give you good karma. Philanthropy will not give you liberation from suffering. Big difference. Good karma will get you good things. Yes. But good karma will not give you liberation from this world. So no matter how much of philanthropy and good deeds you do, you will still be in this world. You will still be possessed by the world. We are literally possessed by our mind, and our mind is possessed of the world, is attached to the world. But if you want to free yourself from that possession, we have become the possessions of our mind, if you want to look at it another way. We need to know that our mind is for us, not we are not for the mind. So what he says is one will never depart from the truth. The truth in this case is not a belief system. The truth of who you are is a reality that can be experienced and felt at any moment, any time. Anytime you enter into this inner space, you will feel peace. I guarantee it 100% all the time, anytime. Regardless of the circumstances, you will feel peace within you. Regardless of what's going on in your life, you will find peace here. This is the oasis. This is the place where you will find shelter. This is the place where you will find God. Here you will find everything. Because this is the doorway, this is the place, this is the portal that takes you to God. And when in that world, there is no worry, there is no fear. Ultimate philanthropy is to help people find this inner space. That is the ultimate good deed because it is transcendent in nature. It is not bound with any attachment to any outcome. It has no motive or purpose other than sharing what one has learned or acquired during this life. Being situated in such a position, no, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. It's a powerful verse, this one. So this occurs in the stage of that he describes in a state of perfection called trance or samadhi. Now, sometimes we may think, and I know this notion is around a lot, that trance or samadhi is something that only happens at a high level of meditation. But I also see that a lot of these symptoms that are described here can be experienced on a regular and day-to-day basis. If you have experienced the self, even for a few moments every day, you will find, and if you have truly made that the center of your life, from where you live, you recognize that, you'll find that most of these symptoms will start to percolate into you, literally like coffee percolates, they will percolate into you. And they will start to take over your body and mind and your personality, and you will find yourself as a different person than what you were perhaps a few years ago. I'm not saying this will happen overnight, but a few months or maybe even a few years of really connecting with this inner space and learning to tame your mind, you will find that shift occur in you in a way that has nothing to do with self-improvement or any of that. And again, I'm not dismissing self-improvement. There's wonderful things I've learned out there too. But this is where it becomes effortless. Becomes effortless only because this is who you are. You take a yellow light, you shine it through a cloth, it's still yellow. Right? Or you shine it through a filter, if it's a green light, it will overpower that filter you're trying to put in the way. Chapter 6, text number 24. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all desires born of mental speculation and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. So a few things are being indicated out here. This chapter is the chapter about yoga and the yogic practice. This is about Ashtanga yoga. Krishna earlier on goes on to, if you look at the earlier chapters, he talks about sitting in a secluded place, laying down kusha grass on the floor, and then sitting that in an asana, right? Creating a space there, and then sitting with in meditation, holding one's body, neck, head erect in a straight line, and staring steadily at the tip of the nose. And with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, one should meditate upon the Paramatma, the presence of God within oneself, within the heart. Thus, by practicing constant control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist attains the kingdom of God by cessation of material existence. So, here he is describing how to get there through the yoga practice. However, he will also describe how to get there through all the different yoga practices as well. It's not that any one of them has the ultimate say. They're all pathways to God and all pathways to this state of consciousness. So therefore he talks about practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all desires born of mental speculation. Interesting enough that he uses born of mental speculation. I'd love to throw this question out and ask you guys, what is the mental speculation? What is the connection between mental speculation and desire? How are they connected? Desires born of mental speculation. Swati, Rima, Nirmala, anyone want to take a shot at it? The connection between desire and mental speculation.
Maybe it's kind of like going window shopping. You know, I never go window shopping because I lack the discipline to look and not buy. Maybe it's like that you're thinking about stuff and hence you wonder maybe.
Well, yeah.
And then you create desire by considering things.
Right.
What you focus on is what you desire.
Correct. So now let's talk about what is it that you're considering? What is it that you're thinking as you view this thing in the window? What is it that you're considering?
Maybe the pleasures of the flesh, the pleasures of I don't know, it all falls into the category of pleasures of the flesh, right? Or of the mind.
Yeah. So you're thinking this will look good in my house, this will look good on my body, this I will enjoy, right?
Yeah.
And not that we're saying enjoyment or having things for us is bad, or no. He's talking about how to be situated in where you're really fixed on this path, right? Not getting deviated by it. So here's the point. Not be deviated from the path. That's what he's trying to get at. One should abandon without exception all desires born of mental speculation and thus control all senses on all sides by the mind. The point is to control the senses. The idea is not to not have senses. The idea is not to not enjoy the senses. The idea is to control them and not have them control you. To have the desires and tame the desire, and not have the desire control you. Because if you are under the control of your desires, then they will say, oh, get me this, I want that. And most of it behind all of that is a certain idea that if I do this, then people will like me, people will admire me. It's very linked to the ego. Then I will be happy. If I have this, then people will think I'm very successful, whatever it is, right? It's all driven by the ego. And so that mental speculation he's referring to here is the speculation that if I have this, then this will be the outcome. I will get this. I will get the fame, the adoration, the appreciation, the whatever it is that one is wanting from the world. In and of itself, there's nothing wrong in wanting a few good things for yourself. Nothing wrong in it. But wanting them because somebody will like you, or somebody will admire you, or somebody will think how successful you are, or how wealthy you are. Yeah. Now we're speculating, and we are allowing that speculation to gradually get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're chasing windmills, like Don Quixote chasing the windmills. I don't know if you know that story, but maybe this isn't the time for it. Chasing windmills like that, chasing fantasies that this will happen, but not necessarily. People could get envious of you, people could hate you, and they often do. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. The mind should be fixed on the self alone and think of nothing else. You say, well, how is this going to happen? He explains it here. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. This is the yogic process. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. That's why I call this putting your mind on a leash. Put a tight leash on it. And what you'll find is that just like a dog, when it's held on a tight leash, he stops struggling. I've seen this practically. When he's given a lot of leash, he's pulling here, pulling there, running here, running there. He's put on a tight leash. After a few minutes, he starts to realize there's nowhere I can go. This guy has got me. So then he starts to follow in line. And he'll walk right there with you. So just as you can train a dog on a leash to walk with you, train your mind to walk with you, to have it completely supporting you, working with you and for you. But you do need to bring it back under the control of the self. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature. Does anybody know about this flickering and unsteady nature? Has anyone experienced it yet? Or have you been living with that? The mind's flickering and unsteady nature. That's what it's doing. It's always wandering, right? Nirmala, you were talking about that. Mind's going here, then there, then there, then there. It's got this 4 different things going on at the same time, maybe 10 different things going on at the same time, right? And we want to bring it back from there and say, no, we're not going there right now. You can't attend 10 meetings at the same time. There's one meeting you can attend at one time. So that's how you tame it. You said, not right now. We will think about that later. We will deal with that later. Here it is on the agenda. I'll put it down. You and I will have a meeting and we will discuss this topic. But till that time comes, we're not discussing it. So I encourage each of you to have this practice, to start directing your mind. The first step, as I said earlier when we started, is to observe it. If you haven't observed it, then you're not going to be able to do any of this. You need to observe it, watch what it's doing, watch its gain. Then you've already created a separation now. Once the separation is created, you can begin to direct it. Your first step, I would suggest, is to direct it in terms of any kind of inappropriate behavior. For example, judging you. I invite you to take the non-judgment test or challenge, and challenge yourself to not judge yourself or others at any time, for any reason. Try it. It's one big step in doing that. The next is to say, have your mind say, like, at no time is it allowed to beat you up, punish you, call you names. You're permitted to make mistakes. And it's perfectly okay. And then 3, from wherever it's wandering, bring it back. Wherever it's going, bring it back. Keep it tight. Keep it right next to you. You'll find after a short while, it'll settle down. It will really settle down. And you will experience a kind of peace and quiet inside that you have not experienced ever, that most people around you haven't experienced. And most people, when you tell them about it, will think you've gone crazy. It can't be happening. But in a sense, you have gone crazy. How could you dare to do this? Would you be willing to try? Not try, like, here's the part. If you want to do this, do it. If you want to sit on the fence, sit on the fence, keep listening. But if you're willing to give it a try, like, try means a committed try. Like, tell yourself for the next 1 month, I am going to take charge. From here on, I'm the boss of my mind. I tell it what to do. If you're willing to take on that challenge, and don't take it lightly, if you're willing to do it, raise your hand now. You're welcome to not raise your hand if you don't want to. But I want to see you have some change. I want to see you do more than just come here and listen. I want to see you experience what we're talking about. So 3 things we're talking about. A, your mind doesn't get to judge or criticize you. If it does, say, stop. You're not allowed to do that. 2, number 2 was?
Put it on a leash.
Okay, that was 3 actually, yes. To stop it from wandering here and there. And 2 was? Who remembers? Non-judgment. Okay, it's not allowed to judge you or anyone else. So 3 things. You can start off getting 1 right. That's a big step. Then add the 2nd, then add the 3rd. That's fine too. All right? So, and then 30 days later, let's review and see what happened. And you'll need to remind me that you took on the challenge. I might somehow get caught up in some other discussion and might not realize it. But let's take on a 30-day challenge with 3 points in mind. First, once again, is no, you're not allowed to judge me. You're not allowed to punish me or call me names at any time for any reason. I'm permitted to make mistakes. This is number 1. So write it down if you want. Number 2, You're not allowed to judge me for any reason because I'm permitted to make mistakes, right? And number 3 is you don't get to run around anywhere you feel like. I am in charge. So I don't want you, if I don't want music right now, you stop. If I don't want you thinking about this person, stop. Or if I don't want you worrying about something, stop. No to beating you up, calling you names, non-judgment towards yourself and others. And 3, tight leash. It doesn't wander where you don't want it to go. Start noticing where it's going, bring it back. I'd love to hear from any of you how that went. We'll give it 30 days. All right, so he's saying here, from wherever and wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. When he says me, let's be very clear. There are different yogis practicing different paths. For some, being focused on God, being focused on me, Krishna, might mean being focused upon Brahman, or the energy of the universe. It might mean being focused on the Paramatma, the presence of God within oneself. Not the soul, but the supreme soul, also present within you. And it might mean being focused upon the personality, the divine form of Krishna. So whatever you are called to, whatever your path calls to for you, the point is this: becoming situated. You have your mind fixed on me, verily attains. Such a person attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion, realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds. So what is reaction to past deeds? Karma. Thus he is freed from karma. Why is he freed from karma? Because he or she has realized that they are qualitatively one with God, right? Realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme. You and God are no different. What does that mean? Does that mean you're God? No. You are qualitatively, you have the same qualities as God, same characteristics, but quantitatively you are not. A drop of water from the ocean has all the qualities of the ocean, but a drop of water is not an ocean, right? It is salty like the ocean. It is wet like the ocean. But the drop of water does not have the waves, nor does it have the depth, nor does it have the scope of an ocean. So similarly, the difference between the Jivatma, that is the tiny soul, the Anksh, right? The small soul, and the great soul, Paramatma, is like a drop of water to the ocean. So however one approaches the Supreme, either as the Brahman, the universe, or as the presence of God within, or as a being, the one who realizes that they are qualitatively none different than God becomes free of all karma. To realize this, the symptom is that such a person is beyond the mode of passion, of doing all the time. You're situated in the self, in a more peaceful place. And your mind is fixed upon the Supreme. Does it mean it's fixed 24/7? You might say, well, 24/7, how can I be fixed on God? I'm not sitting a yogi who can sit in meditation. If you are a yogi who can sit in meditation, wonderful for you. You can sit there 24/7 and do it. Great. Many of us can't. I can't. So I choose a simpler path. A simpler path, a more effortless path, a path that is based on grace, a path that is based on love. And for me, my mind can be easily fixed upon God simply by the things I'm doing, the thoughts that I'm having, mantras, all of that playing through me. It's like this wonderful energy that is moving through me at all times. We can all do this. Does it mean you're going to be perfect? No, I don't think you, I, or any of us is ever going to be perfect. Maybe some people are perfect. God alone knows about them. But I haven't come across many people like that. I know all of us can have a certain level of this, and it's enough. It's enough to feel that deep connection with God throughout your day. And it doesn't mean that it has to be measured by every second of every minute, but it's about this weaving together. You might go in and out and in and out and in and out, like your breath goes in and out. You will also feel your connection with the divine through the day, weaving in and out. And as you feel that, you will start to experience a sense of union or oneness with God. A sense that you and God are none different. Any questions? Anything you'd like to ask? Hi, Krishna, welcome.
Hi, Rohit.
We're in our Bhagavad Gita group, and
Okay.
just winding up over here.
Oh, okay.
The Loving Soulfully group, I'm changing the platform for that. It'll probably move on to something else like Clubhouse or somewhere else. So that's going to change. But you're always welcome to join us earlier in the day at
Okay.
7 p.m. Pacific. You're in the East Coast, so 10 p.m. there. And join us for Bhagavad Gita. I think you'll find it wonderful.
Yeah. Actually, I had some work and I just got completed with that. So I was like 11 o'clock. Let me join this one. So it's
Glad you
fine.
did. I'm glad you made it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Nirmala. Any last questions before we wind up? Krishna, are you?
No, thanks.
Okay. All right. Rima, you good?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right then. Swati, anything from you?
No, I'm good, Rohit.
You're good?
You.
Oh, I'm tired or something.
No, I'm still at work.
At work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we had a new person here, Sherry. If you'd like to say something or if you have any questions, feel free to come in and ask. How are you today?
I'm Australian and I've got laryngitis.
You're connecting from Australia right now?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Thank you for joining.
I thought this was just starting, but from what you just said, it sounds like it's finishing.
Well, we had 2 meetups back to back.
All right.
That's why. So we normally would have started this at 8 p.m. Pacific time. I've decided that I want to shift it to the second one. The Bhagavad Gita is going to stay where it is. That's where we read from this ancient text called the Bhagavad Gita. And so at 8 p.m. Pacific time, here we were going into Loving Soulfully, which is the second meetup. We've now decided we're going to shift the platform. The announcement will be made on the Meetup group itself. Are you a member of Meetup, of this group at Meetup?
I just joined this morning.
Okay.
Well,
wonderful.
my time this morning.
Right. So why don't you just, I think I'll be sending out messages. Give me your email in the chat and I'll put you in there. And we'll notify you as soon as I've had a few minutes to really sit down and figure out how to use Clubhouse. We'll move the whole conversation there. Or maybe there's some other platform if there is one someone would like to suggest. Krishna, you're up on these things.
Just just like an interactive talk about spirituality, then that would be great.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find the right platform. Clubhouse
The
seems to be
right
the place where a
platform.
lot of folks have been going to. So I was thinking I'll go there.
Oh, I don't even know what's that. What's Clubhouse?
Okay, we'll send you out invites.
Okay.
Sherry, I've got your email. Thank you. And I think I have everybody else's. Rima, do you get my emails?
I do.
You do. Wonderful. All right, so you're on the list already.
Mhm.
All right, great, everyone. So sorry for those of you that just joined in wanting to start, but I will notify you. And my hope is by next week, I'll have had the time to put this together. If not, you'll definitely keep hearing on email as to when we're getting started with that. And we will be there. We talk about relationships and we'd love to have you there. All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Alrighty.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Night.
Okay.
Bye, Rohit.
Bye. Hi, Adrian.
Hey, I thought it just began. Did it change?
Okay. We're actually surprised. Sometimes there's not been too many people joining us here on the second. We have two meetups actually back to back. One was based on the Bhagavad Gita, which we've been having from 7 p.m. Pacific time. And the next one began at 8 p.m. Loving Soulfully. Same link, everything.
Yeah.
So we're shifting the Loving Soulfully one to a different platform. I'm going to announce it shortly. So if you could give me your email, I will email you as soon as we're ready to get started. Most likely it'll go on Clubhouse or some such place where we'll have a lot more people who want to sit together and chat. If you don't mind, you can do a private one to me anyway.
Yeah, I think I already have your, I've already subscribed to your
Meetup.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. But I do have a separate mailing list. If you want to give me your email.
Yeah, I do have it. I do have the mailing list. So thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. All right, guys.